1956, the squadron was stationed in Austin, Texas. And we were assigned 3 months, as Strategic Air Command was wont to do, in Fairbanks, Alaska. That put us closer to, well, very close to the Bering Sea, which separates, as you know, Alaska and Russia, and it put us much closer to Russia. So if warfare had broken out, we'd have flown towards the target, gotten across the Bering Sea, and we'd have rendezvoused with a whole bunch of jet fighter bombers, that by that time would have needed fuel going into the target. We'd have refueled them, waited for them to come back out, we'd have refueled them again. Well, the senior airplane commander was a gentleman named Major Ketron. Major Ketron, being the senior airplane commander, was designated as the operations officer for the 10 airplanes that went to Alaska. And we took over one whole officer's barracks for all the pilots and navigators that we had up there in the squadron. There was normally every couple of days there was a poker game at one end of this visiting officers' barracks. And Major Ketron fancied himself to be a pretty good poker player. And he did win a whole bunch of hands during the first couple of weeks. Then in the third week, they got really, really serious at that poker game one evening, and they played well into the next morning. And unfortunately, the good Major Ketron was on a losing streak during that, and he managed to lose awfully big. Back in Austin, he lost his house in that particular poker session. I never ever found out what finally happened. I came home before he did, and never did find out what happened. But he had signed a piece of paper which basically handed the deed to his house over to one of the fellows in the poker game, and lost several hands, and that was kind of the end of his ownership of that house. That was a sad evening and a sad morning the next day.